Hey everybody, we're here.
Hi!
Whoa.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Ryan's here, in case y'all didn't know. If you couldn't
Whole-
tell,
Literally,
I'm back!
Holy
Wow,
crap.
literally
Wow.
talking about volume issues, and then he just bombs us.
Holy
Yep.
crap. All right, have a
I'm
good
the
day
asshole.
everybody.
That's
Jesus.
the show.
Oh my god.
My
If you still have eardrums left afterwards, let's continue now.
Oh my god. I was not expecting that. So
On
yeah.
with the show.
This week we're going to be talking about a few tournaments, EarthX Origins that we're helping put that on, and
Just a little tournament that's going on there.
just a
you
little
know.
tournament. And then we're also going to be talking about the other little tournament that we got going on in a few weeks, the two-team takedown legacy.
Yep. Some
That,
updates there.
yeah. What is it? Legacy 3 or 4 now?
Well, it's just we just call it Legacy, but officially this would be Legacy season 5, I believe, because all last year was it. So we had the 3 and then the Invitational. So this would be the 5th event in it. So
Okay, and also we got the dreaded us talking about what happened on Twitch and nothing else on the document. So we'll see how it goes.
I don't know why that's a bad thing.
Oh, it means we're just
I
gonna
guess
have
I'll
free
just have to
form.
ramble and whatnot for a little bit
You have
at
to fill
filling
time.
time.
That's the horror of our time right now, is having to fill time. Yeah, we're just gonna talk about a few things. So, do you guys want to talk about EarthX Origins and how that's going?
Let's talk about it, man.
All right. We're getting close to it. This Saturday is the date that we're gonna have the actual tournament happen. What is the drop dead date to sign up for it, Ryan?
So 5 p.m. Eastern time this Friday, the 19th, is the deadline to not only be registered for the event, but to have your team submitted for the event. So on team submissions, we do there has been a couple of questions, so I'll address those real fast. Again, there's the EXO Teams channel that you can use our bot to submit your team. If you are not comfortable using the bot, you can send me your team via direct message and I will get it submitted. But the same deadlines apply. Anything after 5 p.m. Eastern time on Friday, I will not accept. At that point, if you've got issues or whatnot, you need to go through Arj, who can be contacted via as Weapon O on the Discord server. So
He won't even accept it from us. So, just giving everyone a heads up. He told us if you're gonna join it and you put it in at 501, you're off you're off the team. You're off the team.
That's exactly how he said it, too.
Yeah.
You're off the team.
yep.
And it's a bobsled team. I don't know even why we have that in North Texas, but we have a bobsled team for some reason. But
Feel the rhythm, feel the rhyme. Get on up, it's bobsled time. Cool runnings. I love that movie.
Yay!
So, okay, coach.
sometimes I just say stuff so Robert will just go off.
I got references.
Hey, you asked us to fill time, so
That's a good point.
True.
You asked for this.
You're a victim of your own words here. So
Yeah.
but no, so currently, actually, as of right now, we are officially up to 32 registered participants. I'm gonna refresh and see if someone joined in the last couple minutes.
32.
Nope, we're up to 32. So I'm hoping we can get a couple more people in there, and at that point, we are getting to where we were at for Worlds last year, which is very nice.
Two
Yeah,
more.
I saw
A
in
lot of
in the
new
Discord.
lot of new names in this event too.
Yeah.
So
Cool. And the Discord, I saw a couple people were finalizing teams. Somebody said they were going to sleep on it. One person said they narrowed it down, so that could easily be 34 by tomorrow.
I'm
Yep.
gonna sleep on it. And two more, and we have the most we've ever had in a tournament that we've hosted or been part of online.
Yeah.
So that's insane. That was our very first
32.
tournament.
How much was it? Our very first tournament was what, 32?
34.
34. Wow.
A lot of people dropped after the first round, but we'll take the peak.
They signed up. They signed up.
Yeah.
So.
yeah. So well, and to combat that, let's jump into pricing here real fast for EarthX Online. First off, remember that there is a raffle at the end of the rounds of Swiss, anyone who participated in all of the rounds gets entered into the raffle and gets the same pricing as top 8. So even if you lose every single round, through the event, you have the same chance of winning top 8 as anyone else who went through those rounds as well. So the top 8 themselves are excluded from that raffle. So it's incentive to stay in there, and that pricing is some pretty sweet pricing, if I say so myself. First and foremost, there is the X-Men, the animated series OP cards. So the top 4, I believe it is, top 4 or top 5 are getting sets of some of those. And then there are the OP kits. There are the Melinda May OP kit, the Batman Beyond OP kit, and the Strahd D&D OP kit. Which, if you don't remember what the main card in those were, that was the Hulk, alt art Hulk, which is probably, in my opinion, the best looking card they've ever printed as far as art goes.
I like that Joker one.
The Joker one's, I mean, that's Alex Ross art.
Yeah.
But that Hulk is just a beautiful art. The other one was the Mr. Mexoplex. Not sure I'm saying that one right, but we all know that one. And then the last one is the other really highly sought after card because, there's been so many reprints of it, but so few have the alt art version of it, of Magic Missile.
So good. I don't have that card.
I don't have any of these cards, so.
So adding on top of that, we've had Lonnie, member of the community, custom made and printed out and donated 2 playmats.
Oh wow!
For people to choose from, and WizKids donated graciously a handful of the original premiere event playmats.
And
so,
by the way, the link is in the description for the tournament for the pricing.
Yeah,
I made sure that was in there so you guys can follow along with. I guess I should have said that at the beginning of this.
Yeah, but by all means, I'm not. I don't remember. I've been camping for the week, so my brain's not up to date with all of the recent discussions. I haven't got everything up, but double check on there. And Arj does have kind of the breakdown of who's going to get what and how it's all split up. But we are doing the top 8 prizing based out of that pool of prizing. Mm-hmm. Plus whatever else Arj decides to throw in there. I believe we did not make custom basic action indicators for this event, I don't think, but I could be wrong on that. So
yeah, I just don't think there was enough time to make the
yeah, no, we didn't have a huge amount of time on that one, so
maybe if we run a tournament in the future for, WizKids at some point, they'll give us some more of a heads up than, a few weeks, and we could try to really customize it a little bit further than just 1 or 2 things.
So, yeah, but that's where we're at pricing wise. So, and we have been in contact and kind of feeding to WizKids some of the rules questions people have had from the last couple modern events. And as such, we saw a couple of rule updates from them posted this week. Now, they did not answer all of the questions we had. So Arj has also posted his rulings for those scenarios. The link is in the description below for those. I'm not going to go through all of them, but specifically the WizKids announced rule. I hate how they kind of combined multiple rules into one post.
Yep.
I really wish they would have done them as separate posts. It makes it a little bit easier to find. But we had a clarification on Jerry Lawler, and if both players bring it, can you double the double and get quadruple? And it is no.
Triple.
It only doubles. So And then the other one was the mankind ruling, which I'll be perfectly honest, I didn't get to read until literally I'm trying to read it right now. So if one of you guys read it and understands the ruling a little bit more, I'll let you talk.
Yeah. Basically, mankind doesn't trigger mankind, is what it said.
Okay.
Could
So
you
if
tell
I
me
have
more?
Mankind, yeah, if I have a mankind on the board and you have a mankind on the board, if either one of us gets does a prep, we both get to prep a die, and that's it. It doesn't. It's not you prep first, then I prep first, then you prep, and then I prep. It doesn't do that.
Yeah,
It's not a
it doesn't
continuous
loop
just
around.
once.
It's
Exactly.
it doesn't process off of itself. So
Exactly.
or any copies of itself.
Mm-hmm.
It isn't a ring around the
Okay.
rosies type effect.
Yep.
Right.
I don't. I mean, I get it why some people would think that, but it feels like it's another one of those spot scenarios. But this one kind of makes more sense than spot, honestly.
Yeah.
Anytime
Yeah.
your opponent preps a die, you get to prep a die, or preps dice, you get to prep a die. I can see how that could be confusing as opposed to the spot ruling or the spot actions or whatever you want to call it.
Well, the spot ruling was confusing because it's under some circumstances you'd get to get multiple dice, others you wouldn't, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so this one, they're not really addressing that portion of it. They're just addressing the
loop.
mankind triggering mankind on that.
Yeah.
So.
I'm sorry. The spot one was if they did multiple things to draw dice for those multiple things. That's really what it stemmed from. People were thinking, well, if I do something to prep 3 dice, I prep all
we
3
always
dice.
talk about the spot.
Yeah,
we always trash on the spot thing, but that's fine.
People trying to do busted stuff with cards that don't say busted stuff.
Right.
Cool. Yeah, sure.
That's not their fault though. That is really not their fault.
That's that's what happens in a competitive game, especially the more limited your resources are, the more bang for buck you try to get out of those resources. So
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
You know.
However, honestly, anytime somebody comes up with a ridiculous scenario like the spot scenarios or even mankind, I don't blame them. I really genuinely blame WizKids for letting that one slip by.
Yeah, but also WizKids has always said go with the weaker ruling. So
Joe, you're one of the ones that's come up with some crazy ass combos. You stay within the weaker ruling scenarios with it, and you still have busted combos once they go off.
That's just me, yeah. And they don't always win either. So
No.
I like the mankind thing. Honestly, I feel like if they had just left it at you can do up until no one decides to do anything. So my understanding of the original rule was that if you both controlled a mankind and then somebody uses a thrown brick, then that would trigger the other person's mankind, and then that would trigger the other person's mankind, and they could say, yes, I'm going to prep, or no, I'm not going to prep. And you could keep doing that until it stopped. And I didn't have any I didn't have any problems with that.
The big question mark is the fact that mankind specifically says you may prep a die, so it is not a forced infinite loop.
Yeah.
And so that's where a lot of people questioned it. But again, the clarification really isn't to address that.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's to address it doesn't process off of itself. So there isn't even a possibility of it going to that. So
I think if they just have limited room on the cards, and I believe on Mankind they kind of put a wall of text on there to an extent. So they've kind of put on there as much as they could, but if they would have just said Mankind can proc extra preps off of anything other than Mankind, that would have fixed it. But
well, I mean, Mick Foley is an author, so I guess they decided to give him a little bit of service there and make his card in a book itself. So
yeah.
The other one was the if Big E were to block an overcrushing character and they dealt enough damage to KO.
Yeah, well, that one's not an official WizKids ruling. That's one that Arj just gave an advanced ruling on. We were hoping to get an official answer from WizKids, but they have not pulled through for us on that one. So the question is with an overcrushing character, and specifically Thanos as an overcrushing character, who states when Thanos deals damage with overcrushing, double the overcrushing damage. Does Big E reduce the damage to 2, or does the 2 damage then get doubled by Thanos to 4 damage? So based on how rules work, the interactions work. Active players' effects for simultaneously triggered effects. Active players process first in the order the active player wants, and then it moves to the opponents. So in this scenario, Big E would always be the defensive player, the opponent in this scenario. So Big E would be the last thing to trigger. The overcrush damage is allocated. It's then doubled. Any other effects that the player might have get to go. At that point, when it becomes the opponent's turn, the opponent then gets to apply the Big E, reducing that overcrushed doubled damage down to 2.
Yeah.
So that is how we are ruling it, and the logic as to why we're ruling it that way.
Makes sense.
But again, that has not been officially ruled by WizKids at this time. That's just our interpretation of it for this event.
And also Mastermind, Arj went through his thought process of why he ruled the way he did on the ruling.
Mm-hmm.
The way he ruled it, it makes sense. So I will give
Right.
him that. He's taking it as should say while engaged in combat, and until they declare blockers, they're not to that point yet. So they're not engaged at that point. So that's why range would work and knock out Mastermind. Makes sense to me now, but I'm also coming from.
It was a weird one that we had to get kind of the process as to why explained, but in that scenario and with the logic he's using, I agree with the rule. Yeah. So,
but if they came around and said no, once you declare combat,
once you declare attackers, that's there, But at that point, I haven't had the opportunity to declare blockers, my people are not engaged in combat yet. So
yeah,
sense to me.
Yeah, it's just coming from Magic. Once you go to a phase, it goes to that phase. There's no while engaged, while anything else. So I'm just going by ruling to that, and that's not how it works in Dice Masters. So
Dice Masters does specifically have a well engaged.
That's not how this works.
So. Yeah.
That's not how any of this works.
Yeah.
But yeah, if even if you've submitted your team, if there's any questions, double check the link in the description below for the advanced rulings that Arj has put out, and if you need to resubmit your team, that's fine. We will take whatever the last team that is submitted as your active team. So one of the things that was talked about during the podcast that I'd like to reiterate right now is at the beginning of round 1, when you sit down with your opponent, before the clock starts, please take the time to validate that the team link that you get for your opponent matches the cards and dice that they actually have in front of them. Before round 1 begins, we can help and make corrections as necessary. But if the timer has started for round 1 and then it's noticed, our hands are tied. And it's not a pretty scenario when that happens. So
we've been generous on previous tournaments when changing.
Yes. But as this is officially prized, we do kind of have to play by the official rules. As such, also, Arch has made it official, no proxies at all. No cards, proxies. No dice, no proxies at all.
No cuts, no busts, no coconuts.
Does that includes custom cards, right?
So custom cards can be used as long as you have the original. So you can, if you want to put one of your custom cards on camera, that's fine, but you still have to have the original card available to show the person if they ask.
And I think
so. I know a lot of people, what they do is they put the card in the card sleeve and then they print out the custom one and put it right in front of it. So it's in the same card sleeve. They literally can just pull out the custom art, show that it's there, and put it back, or flip it over.
I think that's fair, honestly, because in a lot of other games where they can have customizability in it, they do similar things where you just got to be able to, when requested, show the real version of
You
it.
actually have to have the card on hand at the event if you want to use a alternate art version of it. That's fine.
Yeah.
Some
of them go as
but
far
you're
as
not using it as a proxy in that case because you do have
Yeah.
the card.
Some of them say if you at registration, if you have it and present it to an official, you're good to go. But we're saying if your opponent requests it or it's requested at any point, you have to have it on hand.
Mm-hmm. So the other two big things, that we want to reiterate. One has been a staple of our events for a long time, but has not been, a lot of new players are here and isn't always enforced on other online events. And that is drawing your dice, shaking your dice bag and drawing from it on camera. And then the new one that is new even to us from a 2-team takedown perspective is that if your die rolls out of the view of your camera when you roll it, your opponent can request that you re-roll it. That does not count as a re-roll thing. Think of it as the die rolled off the playmat and onto the floor. Okay? Yep. We highly recommended the use of dice towers. And my general rule of thumb for a dice tower is if the die did not go through the dice tower, it was not rolled. The person can pick it back up and roll it through the dice tower. Now they don't get to choose. It's one of those, if it didn't go through and it landed on the face of one, they're like, oh, I'm going to keep that. No, it didn't go through the dice tower. It has not been rolled. They have to pick it up and put it through the dice tower.
Consistency. Okay. Stick to what you're doing the whole entire time. If it always you roll it, when you roll the dice, it always goes through the tower. You have to always have it go through there. If it's hey, you're just having fun playing, however, I guess do whatever you want, but that's gonna be frowned upon.
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna say it's frowned upon, and I'm not saying you have to have a dice tower.
Yeah.
It's if you have one, I highly recommend the use of it. And be consistent in the use of it. I'm trying to think. Is there anything else we wanted to touch base on from the online code of ethics?
Sometimes this goes without saying. You have to respect your opponent and do not shit talk. This is kind of unwritten, but we're all here spending our same time and everything like that. Don't sit there and talk smack and just be a nuisance to your opponent, because that will get you kicked from the server and you'll never be able to participate in our tournaments.
Yeah. So that includes badgering, bullying, any derogatory terms of any kind. Mm-hmm. When you're in a competition, you have to follow the rules. There is actually code of ethics for WizKids rules as well, and that includes foul language and really towards your opponent. We really enforce that during officially prized tournaments as well, online tournaments, especially if you're being streamed on camera.
Yeah.
Steven, we're kind of going over the online etiquette, specifically the changes to the posted one from Dice Masters Online Discord to what's being used for the EXO event itself.
And CR Game tournaments, pretty much.
Yeah, and pretty much, that was the next thing I was going to say is we are going to adopt those changes from EXO into into the game rooms tournaments for future tournaments. So,
so yeah, it's just little things like, would you say this thing to someone to their face?
Yeah, a little trash talk is one thing, but actually.
Yeah.
So there's a difference between knowing, in communication, there's a difference between the context. It's all about the context, right? So if you're just meeting this person for the first time, whether it's via webcam or in IRL, you're not gonna turn around and immediately start calling them names or trashing their plays. That's nobody does that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like there was this one time I went up against this guy at a WKO, and he was playing a Yanti team against me on camera, and he went to shake my hand, and he did this number and went like that. I think his name was Chris.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I think I remember that. I think I actually have it on video.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on video. So don't do that. Don't do things like that.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Now, one other thing I'd like to.
How long was that match?
Again,
How long was that match, Robert?
See, that's what I'm talking. Banned
45 seconds. Yeah.
probably. Shit. Felt like it.
Oh man.
So another thing I'd like to address is from a online etiquette point. You'll see a lot of players, and specifically it usually comes to the more veteran online players, separating out their level 1, their level 2, and their level 3 characters in the field from left to right in groups. So that's easy for you to reference what level that character is. I recommend, if you can think of it, to do it. Again, that's not a requirement in any way, shape, or form.
It's just
you
helpful.
know, it's just a very helpful thing that helps speed the game up, and especially in an online scenario where no extra time is given, and it is a best 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
You don't want to be wasting too much time.
And
So.
let's be honest, most people, like, not everyone's going to have the best of cameras. So putting it in those lines, just so your opponent knows, helps out immensely, because they won't have to be like, what am I blocking? What's the defense on that? What's the defense on this? But that's just, honestly, it's more of just like, it would be nice if you did that. I think if we design a mat, I would like to put level 1, level 2, level 3 on there permanently, so people would know when they're
we've actually discussed that a couple of times, and actually I've worked with Jordan over at DM North on a couple of templates that included that for previous events, but we never got around to actually using them. Let's see, there's one other thing
Going
real
on
fast.
the lines of the quality of the camera too is when you're in game, narrate your plays, don't narrate your decision making.
Yeah.
So it's often a courtesy, and again, the veteran online players will know this. It's often a courtesy to tell the players what you rolled, what the result of your rolls were, instead of just using the energy. Tell them, I'm using the energy for this specific thing. I'm using this energy to purchase this character. I'm using this energy to activate this global.
Especially if you're
target.
using a global to reduce the cost of something to then purchase it. Even if you can move all, let's say you're, using Kree Captain, the 2 cost fist and something else, move it all at one time, but make sure you say, using Kree Captain, I, spend this to purchase this.
Yep.
So people can look at the dice you're moving and all that stuff.
I've been doing it wrong the whole entire time. I just throw it across the room when I do that.
I know. We've been meaning to talk to you about it, but since you stopped really playing online, it hasn't been an issue. So
fair enough.
Yeah.
Problem solved.
We stopped getting emails.
One other thing I would recommend, if at all possible, and this is on a technical side, not a etiquette side type thing, but once you get your camera positioned and get things going, turn off autofocus on your camera. Okay? It's autofocus on the cameras can really mess things up, and especially if you put your hand on in between the camera and the playfield, it will shift focus, and then when you remove it, it'll shift focus, and when it shifts that focus, when it's streamed through Jitsi or Hangouts or any of those other things, that can cause some distortion in video. So if you can and you're comfortable doing so, turn off autofocus is by far one of the best technical things I can recommend to anyone out there.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not going to tell you how to do it because every camera is slightly different in how to do it. But there you go.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's just little tiny things that'll just make the experience for you and your opponent, and if you're streaming it, for the people that are announcing it, because when it comes down to it, we want to showcase you and showcase what you're doing. So, and that's the best way to do it.
Now, speaking of streaming, we currently have 2 dedicated full-time streamers. We've got, of course, ourselves, the game room, and DM Armada
nice.
is going to be a full-time streamer.
You need to add them to the
DM
thing, don't you?
North is still undecided whether they are going to play and stream or just stream only. So we
Makes
do
sense.
know for a fact that they will be streaming. We're just not sure if they're going to be playing or not. If anyone else out there is planning on streaming, even if they're playing, please let us know. We want to collect the list of everyone who's streaming so we can put that out there so that they can watch matches. We want to get as many eyeballs on as many matches as possible if we can. So
And then there's
And you
also
can assign them a room, right?
dedicated streamers will be assigned a room. Player streamers will just have to stream whatever room they're assigned
What
for
they're
their
playing.
match.
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
There's also the players or the content creators that will record their stuff for later
Yes.
viewing. We recommend that if you're going to do that, give us a heads up on that as well, so that we
Yeah.
know who it is. Not for favoritism, just so that we're aware of it.
And we can.
Yeah, I mean,
shout
we
it
want to
out,
give
like,
you shout outs to say keep a
Mhm.
lookout on their channel for future videos and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's,
diddly.
We hate not mentioning people because
yeah.
we like
Yep.
helping everyone else out because it helps everyone else and
It helps
us.
the game.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
helps
So
the
the
game.
people
Yeah,
that
and
we
so-
haven't.
Again.
Sorry.
Oh no, go ahead, Joe. Go ahead.
The people that we haven't named are James or Jacques Blondes with DM United.
DM
They might be
United.
recording if they're playing.
Yeah, I have no confirmation on any of this, so that's why I haven't been able to announce them.
Friday Night Clicks,
but-
possibly.
Friday Night Clicks is most likely going to,
Ministry of Dice.
Ministry of Dice is most likely going to record for later playback. I expect that there's going to be a lot of coverage. Just right now, we don't know.
Yeah. Look
Specifically from the game room, Mike is going to be playing. Joe, I believe you're out of town, so you're not involved in any of it. Rob and Chris will actually be in the commentators booths streaming.
Mm-hmm.
I will, if available, jump into commentate as well, but I'm going to be more judge and tournament official
Executioner.
back end on that. So
yeah, you like the back end, don't you?
yeah.
Appropriate.
But speaking of judge, we did make an additional change for this tournament, and it will be something we will continue to use going forward. We have created a role on the Discord servers of judge. So if you need to speak to a judge, you can just tag us with the @judge, and everyone who's allocated as a judge for the event will instantly get notified with your question. So
Awesome.
again, we'd recommend you make your questions in either the EarthX Origins general channel or the Rules High Priority channel.
And all you do is type @judge in there.
@judge, and then whatever your question is, or your question, and @judge, or however, as long as you put @judge in the middle of it somewhere, beginning, middle, end, doesn't matter, just to make sure we're aware that there is a question that needs our attention.
I think it would have been kind of funny if you made it @adult.
Yeah.
I need an adult.
I mean,
I need an adult.
but yeah, so whoever is the judge, on hand at the time, who available, will jump into your room to discuss further with you and give you your ruling. If they can give it in the chat channel, they will. But in most cases, because there is a timer, it's faster for us to jump in the room, give your ruling to you so you can proceed with your game, and then we will come back and document that answer in the Discord server.
And pause your time while you have a judge in there. So
Yeah.
Well, that's it. It's up to the judge discretion on that one. If it's taking a while for a judge to show up, tag us and say, should we pause our timer?
If it's taking a while, they may not be able to wait for that response, though. So that's
that's what I'm. Yeah, it's just one of those. There are a lot of matches going on, and there are not that many judges. We will do our best to let you know. So if all of the judges are currently dealing with an issue and another question comes up, we will do our best to tag you and let you know to pause your timer. But it is, officially it is not. If you ask for judge advice, you get to pause your timer instantly.
What is the time on the matches?
It is best 2 out of 3 matches with a 50-minute timer.
Oh, and these are competitive matches. I don't.
Yeah.
I say that it shouldn't take that long, but if people are playing Hope Rachel, it might take that long.
Yeah.
There's a possibility they could. I don't expect it, but I expect there to be the first match to be a little bit of people figuring each other out, and then that second match to go all out 100 miles per hour. And if it needs to go to a third match, then those guys are going to be putting the rocket boosters on and trying to run that at 200 miles an hour.
Or just trying to do 1 point of damage more than the other one.
Yeah, talking about time, what are the current rules for if you're in your second match and you go to time?
Okay, so as discussed on the podcast, if it is currently 1-1 and time gets called, again, active player gets turn 0, and it goes to 0 to 5 for the rounds. At the end of the 5th round, it goes to life. So whoever has the most life wins. If at that 5 rounds, both players have the same life total, the match is a tie. There are no sudden deaths or anything like that.
What if go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, what if they're only in their second round of their match? If it's one,
so if it is 1-0,
yes,
and the same thing happens, again, if the person is able to edge out the victory and gets a 2-0, then they win. If it becomes a 1-1 at the end of it, it is put down at 1-1 as a tie. If it's that second match ends in a tie, it's a 1-0-0 tie.
So you have to have 2 wins.
You have to have 2 wins to get the win. Again, what we also recommended for notifying us of the outcome of the match is that the loser of the match makes the announcement of the outcome of the match. This is not because we, want you to, feel bad and parade you around. This is solely, you are less likely to lie in the other person's favor, if someone were ever to lie in a reporting of a match. So we are fairly confident then that what's being reported is accurate.
Question.
Yes.
In the event of a tie, who reports?
Either one can report at that point.
Okay. All right.
So
it's not. We'll accept the answer from if anyone puts it in there, we will put it. We will go with it. If it's the winner that puts it in there, we may reach out to the other person to validate it.
And
that makes sense.
It's not a, oh my God, Ben defeated Ryan and Ben reported it. We can't take that until Ryan says anything. No. And
there's a whole
there's
a whole entire podcast on this. Anyone wants to check that out, they could just go to that. We got a few more announcements to go over.
There's an entire podcast as you said. So
okay, so just to wrap this up real quick. Last day to register, last day to submit teams, and how much does it cost?
$6 to enter. Going to crgr.challenge.com, and you will find the event for Earth X Origins. And the last time to register and have your team submitted is 5 p.m. Eastern this Friday, the 19th.
Sweet.
All right.
Awesome.
Any other
done? Check.
Any other questions? Go ask in our Discord. Check out the podcast. It's in there, and we have the links for in the description for a place to go for that. Moving on.
Let's move on.
We have our 2-team takedown coming up. The last day to sign up for it is July. We got to get the sign up document for that. Oh crap!
Yeah, I've got to create the event. The sign up document is different. We're not going to do the separate form on our webpage. It will be a challenge event that you register for. So
it'll be free.
The 2-team takedowns will be going fully through challenge as well now. This one coming up is the return of Legacy.
with a little bit of spice.
Yep. So we've discussed it amongst ourselves, and we are now going to feed the winning team from monthly one shots to the ban list. So
Yeah.
this does not mean monthly one shots use the ban list. They are just populating the ban list. So we are going to go through all of the 2020 modern monthly one shots that we've done and input those teams. Yeah, there should only be 2 of them.
Yeah.
We will add those teams to the ban list before registration opens for this 2-team takedown.
And there's already, so in fairness, there's already some amount of crossover. I believe there's 8 cards that are already on the ban list that were carried over from last year.
Yes.
And so they will still be banned. There's no
they will
changes
still stay. Yes.
Cool.
So we're just doing that because we're not going to be doing legacy like we did last year, where it's just like every tournament is legacy. So we're just trying to make it a fair thing of representative of what is the winning teams at the meta, and try to make people play with something beyond that.
And honestly, it's going to make it more fun because I think the winning teams may have had Becky. I'm not 100%. Or
I believe
Lawler.
one of them is a Becky team, so one of the Beckys, if not both, should be banned
So there
in
you go.
the 2-team takedown.
It's just
but even if only one of them's there, that means you're only allowed to put her on one of your teams at that
one of
point.
your teams for sure. And I think that's going to make the event more appealing because I think everybody's kind of tired of Becky, honestly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
so
and so
OP.
the good thing about this is also remember the winning 2 teams. So the one winning player, their 2 teams do get added to the ban list as well.
Mhm.
And correct me if I'm wrong on my memory on this one, guys, but our invitational is supposed to be legacy as well.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So that means, once Infinity Gauntlet hits, those monthly one shots with Infinity Gauntlet in it will feed into the ban list so that our invitational will have a very mixed up meta to it. We don't want this to be a slugfest of the meta teams. We want this to be a Brewers competition.
Yeah.
You're going to have to come up with something. You've got to be
Exactly.
the best of the best to win the invitational. And that's our best way of coming up with it.
The crazy thing is, I wanted to ban both teams from the first and second place, and Rob was like not wanting to do that. Well, actually, Rob, you're still okay with that.
Rob would be happy to ban every card that's ever played on any tournament.
That's one. Yeah, that I don't like.
I mean, that's 32. That's 32 cards, potentially 32 cards.
I'm talking about in the one
that's
shot.
A big pull. Yeah, I wanted to ban
okay.
both of them. Yeah.
Okay. So that's only 16. I mean, that's doable.
Ryan talked us off from the cliff, and so did Joe. So Sanity won out.
Yeah. My question is, because I forget. The pool that they're using for this legacy tournament is going to be modern 2020, right? The new modern.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Yep.
Minus whatever cards are banned.
Yeah. If I don't think Infinity Gauntlet's going to make the cut this time around, but if it does, then you're going to be able to use. So no.
No.
The next legacy tournament
has to be out for
series,
30 days. Remember?
Yeah, that's right. So for the next one, it'll be usable, but not for this one.
Potentially.
Yeah, or any other sets that release during that time.
So the next legacy event would be the invitational.
The invitational.
Yeah. And as long as they stick even relatively close to their ship date for it, i.e. this year, it will be eligible for the invitational.
Well, yeah, Gauntlet and at least one other set will be eligible.
Yeah.
The other X-Men set is
Dark Phoenix.
Dark Phoenix. Cool. Yeah. Well, I hope that happens for sure, because the more cards the better. Just to widen up the pool of cards for everyone to use.
Now that doesn't mean that if we have a couple of monthly one shots that people are already using Infinity Gauntlet stuff in it.
Yeah, that would be fine. I think.
Yeah. And like I said, the monthly one shots will feed the legacy list, but the monthly one shots do not use the legacy list. So your monthly one shot, if Becky, wins this month or next month, I should say, Becky's still eligible for future months, but she's now removed from the legacy.
And
so,
and otherwise, The team date for sign up. The last day is the 3rd of July. You have until the 10th of July to put your teams in. Tournament starts on the 13th of July.
Mm-hmm.
So with all those things that we just threw at you, that's really how things are going to go. So we're looking.
And I will make an announcement. The 2-team takedown legacy list on Team Builder will be updated with all the teams and everything before registration is open. So it's not currently updated. Don't start trying to build today. There are going to be some adjustments to it. So
3 people just said, "Oh, the team that I just built after the announcement." Oh.
Cool. So July 3rd, last day to sign up. July 10th is the last day to submit your teams, and tournament will launch on 7/13.
Yes.
Cool.
We've already
All
announced
right.
that there's no monthly one shot for the month of June.
Correct.
Too
No
damn much
one-shots.
stuff going on.
yeah,
Yep.
we originally had planned on not doing one because of Origins itself. Even with everything that's going on now that we've got the Earth X Origins, we didn't want to try to compete with it. We didn't want people to have burnout, but with that said, if you are wanting to try to get a little testing in beforehand in a little bit more competitive environment, Dice Arena tomorrow is going to be doing
Dice
Fight
Yep.
tomorrow is doing a red level event to prep people for Earth X Origins. So
Nice.
yeah, you'll hear more from us in the coming weeks about the 2-team takedown legacy. This has been mostly about EarthX Online. We want to make sure that everyone knows about that. Everything gets going on that.
yeah, we don't want to steal the thunder from that one, but we kind
The
of
rolling
need to
thunder.
get people aware of what's the next on the horizon here. So
All right. So moving on from that, a couple of announcements before we get going on the past haps on Twitch. Want to give a big shout out to Dice Masters North and DM Armada for getting affiliated. Congratulations! It's a big accomplishment. You guys worked your ass off to get that. Congratulations. So
Good job, guys. That shit's hard. It was hard.
Yeah.
Mike did all the work for us. So
Yeah, Mike
Yeah.
putting in so many hours. Yeah, it was totally hard.
yeah, I'm exhausted from it. I don't know about you guys.
That being said, we're going to be having our meeting on the 28th of this month. We're going to try to hammer out an actual schedule for Twitch so everyone can know when we go live, what we're going to be doing, and try to have an idea of what to expect from us. Mike's got a presentation for us apparently, and he's got notes for days.
PowerPoint.
Yeah, he's got a 3-point PowerPoint experiment thing to go on. So we'll be doing
And a
that.
laser pointer.
Yeah.
Now, I know one of the things we've been doing a lot is a lot of the digital board game type stuff. Love Letter, Uno, Splendor is another one we have, things like that. And I know I've seen a lot of people, specifically from the Dice Masters community, going, "Oh God, I wish I would have known you guys were going to do this. I would have loved to play that with you guys." What I would recommend to you is, once we get the schedule announced, say, "Hey, if I can ever join in one of these, let me know, and we will try to coordinate with you." We don't always want it to just be the 5 of us. We would love to see other faces up here, but do understand some of the games we play, like Uno, do get a little bit of toxic with us sometimes, and it's all in good fun and
Britney
whatnot.
Spears.
It's that whole shiitake talkie, and just make sure you've got thick skin if you're going to join.
Yeah.
So
Some people are toxic from outside the game when we're playing Uno, but it's whatever. And also just know that we get tired of Ryan sometimes. We just have his wife step in and play with us too. So
yeah, oh yeah, no, I mean, sure, she's much better to look at than my ugly mug. So I understand.
She's ready to get revenge on me too, from what I hear. So
yeah, Rob robbed her, so she definitely wants a rematch.
it's in my name.
The wife wants to play. Chris, my wife, she wants to play the next Trivial Pursuit when we play Lord of the Rings because she thinks she could have stomped everyone. Like, well, you could have, but you didn't play. So
Yeah.
Bam.
She was all meant to play. We had it all set up for her, but
Yeah.
no.
Next time.
So
We are, with all that being said, we are a game room, and we want everybody to feel like it's not just Chris and Rob's game room. It's
It's
the
not.
community's game
Yeah.
room, and so that's why we always say the game room, or we say CR. We don't say Chris and Rob's anymore. We've reiterated this in the past, but we want to open that up. So when we get out of the meeting after Mike's fabulous PowerPoint presentation, we'll have an ironed out schedule up to a certain amount of time. So that way the viewers and the listeners and everybody who participates in our events can say, hey, can I join in this? Or hey, I want to join in this. And we'll open up slots for that.
And some of the stuff that we have been doing, you guys may have seen notifications going on. Yes, anytime we put on a tournament, we are in the booth. We're in Twitch presenting the matches, and we'll 100% whenever we put on a tournament, we'll be there in the booth talking nonsense in the booth and having gameplay showed and commentating on it every once in a while. Another thing is Saturdays are free for all because we have to be available to do tournaments that day. So we've been doing board games. Mike's been doing some of his arcade runs on Saturdays, mostly on Sundays though for that. And we've also started to do Borderlands 2 on Sunday. And Joe's wife joined us, and she's part of the Borderlands 2 crew. So we do that. And Monday is Mike's arcade stream / me and him playing Cuphead and struggling.
The struggle bus.
Yeah, the struggle
I love
bus.
that name. We need to come up with,
Yeah.
you know what? We need to come up with the struggle bus emote.
That would be kind of cool. But and then every once in a while we'll have music on there, and yes, we can have this music. It's copyright free music. We've made sure that it goes for 8 hours.
it's copyright friendly. Nothing's copyright free. It's copyright friendly. The owner of it is put it out there for anyone to use without any worries of copyright strikes.
So don't report us. We already have it taken care of. But it's just things like that where we're going to be playing games, having fun. Basically, we're going to be showing you what we do all the time when we're not doing tournaments. Is what Twitch is for us, honestly. That's the way I feel about it because we play games all the time, and we play Commander every once in a while. It seems like now because we got so many games we're playing. So. But that's kind of what Twitch is for us. Is just for everyone. Everyone could have a look into the game room of how we interact with each other. We're toxic. We are against each other. Mm-hmm. We're very competitive. So, but yeah.
Even if we're not playing the game, we're still toxic.
Yeah.
And additionally on Twitch, I've been partnering with Jordo over at DM North to put on a OBS boot camp the last couple of weeks. We will be skipping this week, of course, because of EarthX Origins, but we will continue going forward with that, going into advanced topics and things, and it's geared specifically for Dice Master matches and things like that. So if you're interested in recording or streaming your matches, by all means take a look at it. They've currently been posting them on their Twitch channel and then moving them to their YouTube channel. Some of the more advanced ones we might move to our channel and our YouTube, but when it comes to YouTube, we'll make sure we create a playlist that will include all of them.
So yeah, that's. Do you guys want to add anything else to Twitch and things that we do on there?
Shout outs to the streamers that have given us shout outs, like DM Armada the other day. He gave us all a shout out specifically. You may catch us on our individual channels and Final Ross battles, of course. You may catch us
MOD.
Yeah, you said one. We're gonna have to say all of them now. The Dice Masters North,
DM North,
DM North,
Friday Night Clicks.
Let me get the scroll here.
We don't play favorites around here.
Yeah, that we don't. We're always for the community, and anything the community needs, we generally tend to just jump in and help, even whenever we're not asked to do so.
Yeah.
I've been accused of that a couple of times.
No, I have too. I have as well. So I love helping the community. bigger, small streamers. I love helping out there too. So
And we're nowhere big at all.
No.
But yeah.
speaking
So I guess
of,
the only thing I have to add is I think, Chris, we need to create a poll up on Patreon. And so if you're not a member of our Patreon, you need to join our Patreon to be able to answer this poll. But I think we need to put a poll on where would you like to see Rob next with his green screen. Rob is the recent addition to the green screen club here. I think we need to come up with some fun places for Rob to visit.
It's true. That's a good idea.
And
I'm all for it.
we're gonna try to do more things on Patreon also. So if you're not a member,
I've not been doing very good job, and so I've handed the keys to that one over to Chris. So expect some better updates coming soon.
Patreon members,
So.
you'll be able to see the videos actually on Patreon now.
Ooh, Tokyo. For it.
actually,
No, I'm for it.
Patreon, I should mention also that whenever it comes to guesting or being involved in game room activities, we do have a standing rule that patrons get priority over
Yeah.
other viewers.
Yep.
So if you are a patron, you can use a member of our Patreon. You can use that to kind of get a better pool.
To leverage us
for-
and basically,
yeah,
bully us into doing what you want. So
yeah,
Makes
because
sense.
and we're kind of okay with that.
yeah, Patreon is supporting us, so we're happy with supporting back or paying it forward, whichever way we can.
Exactly. All right.
So I think I wasted about as much time as I can for you to stretch this to as close to an hour for you. Are you good, Chris?
I think I'm good. Yeah.
Okay. Good job, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Speaking of
did it.
Patreon, where are we at with that Commander vid?
I
Chris?
just edited it, so
Nice.
Yep. So look forward to that.
rendered is coming
Those who
soon.
are members of our Patreon, this is another good one. I actually enjoyed this one specifically.
mhm.
And then if you want to help us out, you can give us tips on designing our next emotes because I believe we're moving up to unlocking our next one pretty soon.
Maybe so.
So
Damn, I was gonna say something I forgot.
how dare you?
sorry.
I had to ruin the vibe. Sorry.
That's all right. Oh, guess it wasn't important.
Is
I
it
mean,
ever?
I can do another shout and blow out everyone's eardrum to
No,
pay a little
no,
more
don't do
time.
that.
no.
Don't do that. We're good on
No,
that.
like this.
Yeah. Just click like.
Likes for
Give us a
Mike.
like. Likes for Mike. Everybody.
Likes for Mike.
Yeah.
Sorry you
Waiting on
couldn't
that
make it
bowl of
this
soup.
week.
That bowl of soup. Yeah, we can't feed Mike if we don't get likes. So
He's
Remember
contractually
that.
obligated to only eat
Yep.
if he gets likes. So
we pay him in ramen noodles, and he doesn't get them unless we get likes. So
yeah.
No, damn. What was it? I had something. I forgot what it was.
Use your
Probably
words.
teaser stuff. We got some good stuff
Oh,
coming down the pipeline.
drawing.
Guys, so
Draw-
drawing. Yeah, I'm gonna do Alf. Probably I might do it on Friday and after work.
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten pretty good at drawing Alf without looking at a picture, so I'm gonna look at a picture anyways and just draw it so it comes out really good.
You want to tell the different
And,
versions that you've got an idea for? One that you're gonna probably draw, and one that I wanted you to draw, but you probably can't draw.
So I have like a forward view of Alf, which is just gonna be facing straight. I feel like that's easier geometrically to draw, and I think it'll be easier to explain.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I have one with Alf holding a cat up like he's about to eat it, because Alf ate cats, and so
Yeah, he needs
I
the
was like,
tail
"Ah."
coming out of the mouth or something,
Yeah, I had him like going like about to get in there, and I was like, you know what? I send these videos even though they're not made for kids. I know people that they show it to their kids because they like to draw, and so I was like, maybe that might not be a good idea to show Alf trying to eat a cat. They might not know what it means, but
Yeah, kids probably don't even know who Alf is. So
oh, I'm sure, but I was trying to find the picture. I have to hit up my uncle um, from see if he has a picture. But back in 1987 or 88, I was in a Halloween parade. It's a really small town, and I was raised in Uvalde, Texas, which is where Matthew McConaughey's from. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of Uvalde, Texas.
Is
Weird
that why you go
flex,
like this all the
okay.
time?
Yeah, weird flex, but yeah, yeah, exactly. But I was in a Halloween parade and I actually won like first prize in the Halloween parade. So like I had like they gave me like a little trophy and everything, but I can't find it to save my life. And I was gonna take a picture of it and put it in the thing. And so I tried looking up Uvalde, Texas Halloween parade and all this thing, trying to find the picture from the newspaper and stuff, and I couldn't find it. But my uncle
But it
has a
was you.
picture.
It was you in an Alf costume,
I
right?
wasn't dressed as Alf. My uncle was dressed as Alf, but I was dressed as a scorpion, which was kind of cool. And my uncle was dressed like Death, and he was pulling me on a skateboard. So I was on my belly the entire time, and I was just like doing this thing, and all the legs were sewn together, so it looked like I was walking as a scorpion, and it was really cool. My grandma sewed like everybody's costumes. It was amazing. So I was trying to find the pictures so I could put it into the video, but I don't have them, and I couldn't find them. So it's a thing. I have to find it.
All right.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
It is kind of cool, but it was so long ago. Like I don't know if it's stored anywhere. Where would I have to go to get it?
It's almost as cool as my crushed velvet jacket that I shared with you when I was a kid.
That thing was sweet, dude. We need
Yeah.
to find some more channel jackets.
Yeah. Oh, Chris has been
All right,
looking.
that was it.
Chris has been looking, by the way.
I saw
that.
No, there's not going to be a Borderlands 2 stream this Sunday. I don't know if anybody's going to be streaming this Sunday because we're going to be pretty worn out from all the EarthX coverage.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to my parents' house on Sunday also, so I might not be home till late. Maybe if Chris isn't, or if y'all aren't busy, you can jump on, play some Tetris or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that might be cool.
Do something like that. Mario Party's on sale, guys, for $41.99. We can talk about that afterwards, but anyways.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, while I was on my camping trip, Mario Party and Mario Kart did show up here at my house. So we are, I just need to get the Switch away from my kids long enough for me to be able to play some games with you guys. Maybe we can get a couple of those up on stream.
You're the adult, just ground them. That should go over well.
It's actually my son actually earned and bought that Switch with his own money. And so that's one of the rules is, he was not allowed to take it to bed with him, but I can never officially ground him from it because he actually did the jobs and earned the money to buy it on his own. So
Nice. That's cool.
See, that's where you fucked up.
I had to give him incentive for wanting to earn the money. So,
All
All
right.
right. We'll figure it out.
yeah.
So with that said, everyone tune in this weekend, and who knows, we might have some streams this Thursday or Friday because I'm off work. I don't know. It's very confusing for me right now. I've got a lot of videos to edit, but I'll probably get them up. Bye.
Bye.
That's going to wrap things up for us here in the CR Game Room. Check out our website, crgr.rocks, for all our latest info. There you'll find a link to help support us via Patreon. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Join our conversations on Discord. Be sure to like and subscribe. And as always, thanks for hanging out.